So there's been a frequently asked question on both YouTube and Twitch, that being, will I be bringing MLB The Show 18 to this channel? Now, I've been playing the hell out of this game on Twitch, whether franchise, Road to the Show, Diamond Dynasty. I am loving this game. For those who don't know, at the beginning of March, I finally went out, got a PlayStation, because not only did I want to play the show, I got tired of not having a sim baseball game on, available to me, on the console that I own. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Super Mega Baseball on the Xbox. The sequel's coming out here in about a week and a half or so. I'm looking forward to that. But it's been a long time since I've gotten to play the show regularly, and I am so happy to be back and playing it. I also wanted to get the console for other games like Uncharted, The Last of Us, and not to mention God of War, which, oh my god, what a game. That said, this video is just me testing the waters on whether or not there is that much interest. I will continue to play this game on stream, but I want to see if there's interest from the majority of you, or maybe not the majority, but a decent amount of you that want to see this happen. In terms of the videos that I'm putting up on the channel, I do try to make sure that they're at least somewhat successful, because otherwise, why bother, so to speak, unless it is a game that I really enjoy, like FHM, or maybe I'm streaming something like God of War, and I just feel like putting up the entire playthrough on the channel for those that care to watch it. Kind of killing two birds with one stone with that regard. Anyway, let's cut to the chase here. I have in mind 5 teams. 5 teams. I thought it was 6 for a second. I have the list in front of me. I have in mind 5 teams that I would be interested in doing a series with if the interest is there. So how I'm going to gauge the interest on whether or not you guys want to see this and whether or not it's worth putting time into for the YouTube channel, the views on this video, the likes, the result of the poll that's in the description, in voting between the 5 teams that I'm going to have up for this vote on who I would potentially be doing a franchise mode series on. As far as Road to the Show, we'll see. Let's start with franchise, since that is my bread and butter. Again, if we don't bring it to YouTube, I'm still going to play on Twitch. So, 5 teams, ranging from one of the favorites. Now, this is the OSFM roster, but I've also gone through and made sure that certain players who are in double or triple A because they're out injured to start the year, I've made sure that they've been called up to better reflect the ranking. So for Baltimore, for example, I believe it was Zach Britton we called up. For the Red Sox, Dustin Pedroia, who would be in AAA, I believe, maybe even double, off of the OSFM rosters. For those who don't know, that is the Operation Sports rosters. Realistic, a lot more realistic. So obviously, you've seen with you've seen what I do with NHL. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that I absolutely adore that I can use these rosters, because roster sharing is a thing on this game. The 5 teams, ranging from a favorite, a top 10 team, like the Boston Red Sox. Obviously, the team that I support, my favorite team. They are the 4th ranked team in the game. I've been doing a test run with them on Twitch. That doesn't mean that I'm not against playing through with them again. So the first team on the poll is the highest rated team, that being the Boston Red Sox. Should I do a Red Sox franchise on this channel? Next up, we have 3 kind of mid-table teams, all that I think would be interesting and all that I've had support for in terms of using on Twitch, which is why I think it'll be a similar story here. And if the team you'd like to see me use isn't in the top 5, hey, if there's interest, the show will be a regular thing around here. That second team being the Toronto Blue Jays, of course, there's a good chance that if I put up the list of all 30 teams, they would have been towards the top anyway, simply because I'm a hockey channel. And obviously, if any, with the hockey channel, you're going to have a large contingent of Canadian viewers. And odds are, what team do those viewers support? Well, probably Canada's only team, that being Toronto. Again, about mid-rank, 13th. Which I'm a little bit surprised by. I thought they'd be a little bit higher rated. But we could indeed use the Blue Jays and look to bring them back to the promised land. The third team on the poll, surprisingly not the Marlins. I have a different rebuilder in mind that I think is more interesting than just using the flat-out worst team, although I'm not against that. The third team is the New York Mets. The New York Mets. Again, about at the same range as the Blue Jays. They're actually one rank better. There's one reason why I'm throwing the Mets into the mix. That is their Double-A team, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, which is undoubtedly the best name in the history of sports. The Rumble Ponies. So I'm going to throw the Mets into the mix for that reason alone. The fourth team on the list, the Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously, some up-and-coming members of that team. Rhys Hoskins probably at the top of that list. The Phillies, like I mentioned, some of these teams might be closer to contention, you would think on paper, like Toronto or the Mets. The Phillies kind of coming out of that rebuild, but they're all those mid-tier teams where you would at least expect them to be vying for a playoff spot as opposed to the Red Sox, who are in that World Series contender title. Obviously, right now, the best team in baseball. That brings me to the fifth team, who are at the complete opposite end of the spectrum of the Red Sox, much like the Miami Marlins, but again, I don't want to use them. That brings me to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Just simply due to how mismanaged this franchise is, it's sad. And now that they've moved on, Andrew McCutchen is gone. He's a Giant, which is weird. This team needs all the help in the world. And if you aren't aware with how bad the situation is in Pittsburgh, might I suggest the Urinating Trees video about the Pirates organization. It's very, very sad. And actually, if you are a Pirates fan, I'd recommend not watching it. Although, you know, death by 1,000 cuts at this point, I suppose. So to recap, the 5 teams that I am considering using for a franchise mode on the channel would be the Red Sox, Blue Jays, Mets, Phillies, and Pirates. The poll will be multiple choice to select any of the series that you are interested in. And again, if there is a team you'd like to see me use, you know, like Miami, just because they are the worst ranked team, maybe in the future. Again, if we do go forward with the series, and the series does well, I am not against having the show be one of the staples of this channel. I am loving franchise mode and everything I've seen with this. Although, boy, are injuries possibly worse than they are in NHL. It's kind of insane. But that said, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Like I said, you know what you can do to show your support for this potential series. If you're normally like, I don't need to leave a like on the video, who cares? If you want to see this, I'd recommend it. So let me know. I'll see you guys soon, one way or another. Have a good one. Take it easy.